The Lake Isle of Innisfree. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of the linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway, or on the pavement's gray. I hear it in the deep heart's core. The Pity of Love. A pity beyond all telling is hid in the heart of love. The folk who are buying and selling, the clouds on their journey above, the cold wet winds ever blowing, and the shadowy hazel grove where mouse-gray waters are flowing, threaten the head that I love. The Sorrow of Love. The brawling of a sparrow in the eaves, the brilliant moon and all the milky sky, and all that famous harmony of leaves had blotted out man's image and his cry. A girl arose that had red, mournful lips, and seemed the greatness of the world in tears. Doomed like Odysseus and the laboring ships, and proud as Priam murdered with his peers, arose, and on that instant clamorous eaves, a climbing moon upon an empty sky, and all that lamentation of the leaves could but compose man's image and his cry. When you are old. When you are old and gray and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read, and dream of the soft look your eyes had once, and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false or true. But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face, and bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled, and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. A dream of death. I dreamed that one had died in a strange place, near no accustomed hand, and they had nailed the boards above her face, the peasants of that land, wondering to lay her in that solitude, and raised above her mound a cross they had made out of 2 bits of wood, and planted cypress round, and left her to the indifferent stars above, until I carved these words: she was more beautiful than thy first love, but now lies under boards. These are clouds. These are clouds about the fallen sun, the majesty that shuts his burning eye, the weak lay hand on what the strong has done, till that be tumbled that was lifted high, and discord follow upon unison. And all things at one common level lie. And therefore, friend, if your great race were run, and these things came, so much the more thereby have ye made greatness your companion, although it be for children that you sigh. These are the clouds about the fallen sun, the majesty that shuts his burning eye. All things can tempt me. All things can tempt me from this craft of verse. One time it was a woman's face, or worse. The seeming needs of my fool-driven land, now nothing but comes readier to the hand than this accustomed toil. When I was young, I had not given a penny for a song. Did not the poet sing it with such airs that one believed he had a sword upstairs? Yet would be now, could I but have my wish, colder and dumber and deafer than a fish. Brown penny. I whispered, I'm too young, and then, I'm old enough. Wherefore I threw a penny to find out if I might love. Go and love, young man, if the lady be young and fair. Ah, penny, brown penny, I am looped in the loops of her hair. Oh, love is the crooked thing. There is nobody wise enough to find out all that is in it. For he would be thinking of love till the stars had run away and the shadows eaten the moon. Ah, penny, brown penny, one cannot begin it too soon. To a friend whose work has come to nothing. Now all the truth is out. Be secret and take defeat from any brazen throat. For how can you compete, being honor bred, with one who, were it proved he lies, were neither shamed in his own nor in his neighbor's eyes? Bred to a harder thing than triumph, turn away, and like a laughing string whereon mad fingers play amid a place of stone, be secret and exult, because of all things known, that is most difficult. The witch. Toil and grow rich. What's that but to lie with a foul witch, and after, drained dry, to be brought to the chamber where lies one long sought with despair? The peacock. What's riches to him that has made a great peacock with the pride of his eye? The wind-beaten, stone-gray, and desolate three-rock would nourish his whim. Live he or die amid wet rocks and heather, his ghost will be gay, adding feather to feather for the pride of his eye. Two years later. Has no one said those daring, kind eyes should be more learned? Or warned you how despairing the moths are when they're burned? I could have warned you, but you were young, so we speak a different tongue. Oh, you will take whatever's offered and dream that all the world's a friend. Suffer as your mother suffered, be as broken in the end. But I am old, and you are young, and I speak a barbarous tongue. A memory of youth. The moments passed as at a play. I had the wisdom love brings forth. I had my share of mother wit. And yet, for all that I could say, and though I had her praise for it, a cloud blown from the cutthroat north suddenly hid love's moon away. Believing every word I said, I praised her body and her mind, till pride made her eyes grow bright, and pleasure made her cheeks grow red, and vanity her footfall light. Yet we, for all that praise, could find nothing but darkness overhead. We sat as silent as a stone. We knew, though she'd not said a word, that even the best of love must die, and I had been savagely undone, were it not that love upon the cry of a most ridiculous little bird tore from the clouds his marvelous moon. Fallen Majesty. Although crowds gathered once, if she but showed her face, and even old men's eyes grew dim, this hand alone, like some last courier at a gypsy camping place, babbling of fallen majesty, records what's gone. The lineaments, a heart that laughter has made sweet, these remain, but I record what's gone. A crowd will gather, and not know it walks in the very street whereon a thing once walked that seemed a burning cloud. That the night come. She lived in storm and strife. Her soul had such desire for what proud death may bring that it could not endure the common good of life, but lived as 'twere a king that packed his marriage day with banneret and pennon, trumpet and kettledrum, and the outrageous cannon, to bundle time away, that the night come. The Magi. Now, as at all times, I could see in the mind's eye, in their stiff, painted clothes, the pale, unsatisfied ones appear and disappear in the blue depth of the sky, with all their ancient faces, like rain-beaten stones, and all their hilms of silver hovering side by side, and all their eyes still fixed, hoping to find once more, being by Calvary's turbulence unsatisfied, the uncontrollable mystery on the bestial floor. The dolls. A doll in the doll-maker's house looks at the cradle and bawls, "That is an insult to us." But the oldest of all the dolls, who had seen, being kept for show, generations of his sort, outscreams the whole shelf. Although there's not a man can report evil of this place, the man and the woman bring hither to our disgrace a noisy and filthy thing. Hearing him groan and stretch, the doll-maker's wife is aware her husband has heard the wretch, and crouched by the arm of his chair, she murmurs into his ear, head upon shoulders leant, my dear, oh dear, it was an accident." A coat. I made my song a coat, covered with embroideries, out of old mythologies from heel to throat. But the fools caught it, wore it in the world's eyes, as though they'd wrought it. Song, let them take it, for there's more enterprise in walking naked. The collarbone of a hare. Would I could cast a sail on the water, where many a king has gone, and many a king's daughter, and alight at the comely trees and the lawn, and playing upon pipes and the dancing, and learn that the best thing is to change my loves while dancing, and pay but a kiss for a kiss. I would find by the edge of that water the collarbone of a hare, worn thin by the lapping of water, and pierce it through with a gimlet and stare at the old bitter world where they marry in churches and laugh over the untroubled water at all who marry in churches through the white thin bone of a hair. Solomon to Sheba. Sang Solomon to Sheba and kissed her dusky face. All day long from midday we have talked in the one place. All day long from the shadowless noon we have gone round and round in the narrow theme of love, like an old horse in a pound. To Solomon sang Sheba, planted on his knees, if you had broached a matter that might the learned please, you had before the sun had thrown our shadows on the ground discovered that my thoughts, not it, are but a narrow pound. Sang Solomon to Sheba and kissed her Arab eyes, there's not a man or woman born under the skies dare match in learning with us two, and all day long we have found there's not a thing but love can make the world a narrow pound. The scholars. Bald heads, forgetful of their sins, old, learned, respectable bald heads, edit and annotate the lines that young men, tossing on their beds, rhymed out in love's despair to flatter beauty's ignorant ear. All shuffle there, all cough in ink, all wear the carpet with their shoes, all think what other people think, all know the man their neighbor knows. Lord, what would they say? Did their Catullus walk that way? Lines written in dejection. When have I last looked on the round green eyes and the long wavering bodies of the dark leopards of the moon? All the wild witches, those most noble ladies, for all their broomsticks and their tears, their angry tears, are gone. The holy centaurs of the hills are vanished. I have nothing but the embittered sun, banished heroic Mother Moon and vanished, and now that I have come to 50 years, I must endure the timid sun. The dawn. I would be ignorant as the dawn that has looked down on that old queen measuring a town with the pin of a brooch, or on the withered men that saw from their pedantic Babylon the careless planets and their courses. The stars fade out where the moon comes, and took their tablets and did sums. I would be ignorant as the dawn that merely stood, rocking the glittering coach above the cloudy shoulders of the horses. I would be, for no knowledge is worth a straw, ignorant and wanton as the dawn. The fisherman. Although I can see him still, the freckled man who goes to a gray place on a hill in gray Connemara clothes at dawn to cast his flies, it's long since I began to call up to the eyes this wise and simple man. All day I'd looked in the face what I had hoped 'twould be to write for my own race and the reality, the living men that I hate, the dead man that I loved, the craven man in his seat, the insolent unreproved, and no knave brought to book who has won a drunken cheer, the witty man in his joke aimed at the commonest ear, the cleverest man who cries, the catch cries of the clown, the beating down of the wise, and great art beaten down. maybe a 12-month since suddenly I began, in scorn of this audience, imagining a man and his sun-freckled face, in gray Connemara cloth, climbing up to a place where stone is dark under froth, and the downturn of his wrist when the flies drop in the stream, a man who does not exist, a man who is but a dream, and cried, "Before I am old, I shall have written him one poem, maybe as cold and passionate as the dawn." The hawk. Call down the hawk from the air. Let him be hooded or caged till the yellow eye has grown mild, for larder and spit are bare, the old cook enraged, the scullion gone wild. I will not be clapped in a hood, nor a cage, nor a light upon wrist. Now I have learnt to be proud, hovering over the wood in the broken mist or tumbling cloud. What tumbling cloud did you cleave, yellow-eyed hawk of the mind, last evening, that I, who had sat dumbfounded before a knave, should give to my friend a pretense of wit? Memory. One had a lovely face, and two or three had charm, but charm and face were in vain, because the mountain grass cannot but keep the form where the mountain hare has lain. A deep sworn vow. Others, because you did not keep that deep sworn vow, have been friends of mine. Yet always, when I look death in the face, when I clamber to the heights of sleep, or when I grow excited with wine, suddenly I meet your face. Presences. This night has been so strange that it seemed as if the hair stood up on my head. From going down of the sun, I have dreamed that women laughing, or timid, or wild, in rustle of lace or silken stuff, climbed up my creaking stair. They had read all I had rhymed of that monstrous thing returned and yet unrequited love. They stood in the door and stood between my great wood lectern and the fire, till I could hear their hearts beating. One is a harlot, and one a child that never looked upon a man with desire, and one, it may be, a queen. On being asked for a war poem. I think it better that in times like these a poet's mouth be silent, for in truth we have no gift to set a statesman right. He has had enough of meddling who can please a young girl in the indolence of her youth, or an old man upon a winter's night. The 19th century and after. Though the great song return no more, there's keen delight in what we have, the rattle of pebbles on the shore under the receding wave.